Well, hello everyone. My name is Anantha Parakrama. I scored a mark of 710 and a rank of 11 in NEET 2020. This year, the exam was far on the easier side. There are just some 5 to 6 questions which are, the rank deciding questions. You just have to be careful in this type of a paper. So, I want to take this opportunity on this DKT platform to share my strategies, my experiences to you all. So, before starting everything, I just want to clarify one thing, the teaching system is different in the south and in the north. If you're a south student, most of the time teachers would take to teach you and you would get a very little time to study on your own. So I didn't get much of an opportunity to go and refer other books. So this might be a bit different from other interviews, but this is my experience. So here it goes. Well, in my NEET preparation, first subject which I want to speak about is chemistry. It is one of my favorite subjects. See, basically chemistry is divided into 3 branches: physical, inorganic and organic. So let's talk about organic. See, organic, for my convenience, I will divide it into 2 branches: the GOC and the reaction mechanism part and the non-GOC part. See, this non-GOC part consists of the aliphatic, aromatic, the carboxylic acids, aldehydes, ketones, that part in the second year chemistry. All these chapters have one thing in common: reactions. Whether it be named reactions or preparation reactions, at the end they are reactions. So what I did personally was, for these particular chapters, I created my own notes. And my own notes consist of all those particular reactions which are present in the NCERT, plus few or more reactions here and there given by my teachers, and few other stuff which is revolved around it, which may be useful or which can be asked as a question in this NEET exam. So I basically, see all those questions and I made a notes out of it. And I think that is the most, important thing to be done, because if you are preparing for an exam, revising those notes will be much more useful than revising the whole NCERT again and again. So that is a non-GOC part. But when you come to the GOC part, that is the most interesting part. If you really understand the GOC, the exact reaction mechanism behind it, you will quite enjoy it, frankly. Starting, even I used to, be difficult in those topics, the GOC part and the reaction mechanism part. But one thing which helped me cope with it is, going through YouTube, actually speaking. There are several channels in YouTube which actually, taught me very much in these particular topics. One of them is, Pahul Sir by Vedantu, and Physics Wala, even he teaches chemistry, and Ask IITN, IITN explains, these are few channels in YouTube which actually tell you to the core what exactly is there behind the reaction mechanism. They help you to understand each and every concept beautifully from the basic level. So actually that helped me a lot to understand the concepts in GOC and the other part. So basically, with respect to the questions, as I said, I didn't get that much enough of time to go and refer other material. So basically what I did was, I did my college material. There's this book known as Fast Track provided by our college. I did that. So there are basically some 100 to 150 questions for each and every topic, which I have done to get perfection in a one particular topic. Aside from that, assignments given by sirs. There are tons of assignments given by my sir, and I've done that, and that actually proven to be an advantage. You have to face as many number of questions as possible, but not just facing them, but you need to know the in-depth, understanding of that particular topic to get a good grip on that. So for the GOC part, I would recommend that. So especially other books though, I didn't go for those many books. And one more thing, going through mains papers, especially for our organic chemistry, going through mains is actually important, very important, because if there are 2 or 3 questions in GOC part, which is, moderate, mostly they will be picked from the mains papers. I did solve mains papers, especially for this organic, and it proved to be, of a huge advantage with respect to, the organic preparation. So, I think that's most of it. And books though, I didn't hugely refer any other book, and I've told you of the YouTube channels actually proved to be a huge advantage, because there are small topics here and there, nooks and corners which I know I'm not that perfect in. I use the help of YouTube, and I got advantage out of it. So basically, yes. So I think that is the organic chemistry part. So let's now move on to the physical chemistry. So with respect to physical chemistry, what I basically did was I revised my notes. My notes, what I did was I wrote stuff from NCRT, I wrote stuff from what teachers said. I made my own notes. See, the thing is, in the NEET, physical chemistry is mostly, formula based. So once you know the formula, that would be enough. But, once you understand deeply, you would love physical chemistry. So, once I basically did my notes, I actually didn't read NCRT for physical chemistry. But there are few areas in the NCRT which is very important for NEET. Certain areas like examples of positive and negative deviation, different examples of different type of solutions, examples of first order reaction, second order reaction in chemical kinetics chapter, these kind of corner points which are extremely important for the NEET exam, because such kind of questions are asked again and again. So if you do pass your papers of NEET, you can actually recognize that there's a pattern that is going on, and once you find that pattern, actually you can read these corner points again and again to get perfection in them. So basically books means I didn't go any further. I just referred my college materials. I did my fast track, that's one of my college material book. But one thing which I did in my lockdown for physical chemistry is the last slip for of Akash. That actually proved to be a huge advantage, because it has somewhat 150 to 200 questions in each and every chapter. I practice all of them, and those are some standard questions. So after I practice, I got immense of confidence, because solving those many questions actually gave me that advantage. So physical chemistry, that's what I would suggest. Make your own notes, follow it, revise it, and do pass your papers. I think that would be more than enough for the NEET. So now let's jump on to the inorganic part. So for inorganic chemistry, I have one word: NCRT. You have to be perfect in NCRT, to get good marks in this NEET. See, you have to be perfect with each and every line in NCRT, especially to inorganic chemistry. But there are few areas here and there you have to go, beyond NCRT, like oxyacid of sulfur, oxyacid of phosphorus. But apart from that, it's mostly NCRT based. But there is one common mistake, students would do. That is, they neglect tables. Basically, inorganic chemistry means, 1, 2, 3, 4 groups in the first year, 5, 6, 7, 8, and DNF block in the second year. The most important thing in all these chapters is the tables in them. Because it is from these tables, they started making orders, and they can, ask a variety number of questions. So, don't neglect the tables which are present in the NCRT put for inorganic chemistry. And one more thing, you have to face as many number of questions as possible for inorganic chemistry. Because, when I read it the first time, I didn't remember most of them. But, the key secret behind it is to read it as many number of times as possible to gain perfection in it. There are some numerical data here and there which is not that important, like melting point of red phosphorus or the bond angle of that. That is not that important, but there are some common questions which are very important. You have to be thorough. So in order to be thorough in inorganic, you have to read the NCRT multiple times. Another approach for it is to make your own short notes of it. I actually made it, I made potential questions which can be asked, and I started writing them all down in a book, especially for inorganic chemistry, the groups and some other chapters for hydrogen and stuff. I made my own short notes, which actually proved to be hugely useful for my NEET preparation. So yeah, again, as I said, I did my college material. I didn't go far out of NCRT for any chapter, focusing more on tables and in text questions which are there here and there in NCRT, especially for inorganic chemistry. And yeah, I think basically that is. But there's one more book known as Lilliput for mains and NEET. That book is extremely useful. Why? Because in inorganic chemistry, especially in NEET, many questions would be asked based on orders. So the specialty of this book is that all the orders will be written in one particular page. So there's no need for you to write them. So in some 10-15 pages, all the orders of the both years, first and second, will be written at one place. All the formulas will be written in other set of pages. All the graphs will be written in other set of pages. It is actually a summary of everything that you do in the 2 years. This book, Lilliput, which I found, extremely useful, and I think it will be very useful for you too. So yeah, I think that covers the entire chemistry part. So I told you about the YouTube channels, I told you about the books which I read. I didn't go outside anything of my college material. But on the other hand, I didn't get that much time too, because I was solving many assignments. I was facing a lot of questions from my college material and stuff. So yeah, that is basically chemistry. Now let's move on to the other subject, physics. So physics, physics used to be my most difficult subject, initially of the 2 years. But at the end, it became, my most enjoyable subject, because once you truly understand the concepts, behind it, you will truly enjoy it. See, physics, what I did basically was I revised my notes many times. I think that proved to be a huge contributing factor. I got 175 marks in physics, because this NEET exam, physics especially, it's more formula based. If you know the formula, you can get the answer. So you need to be thorough with as many formulas as possible, and mostly are basic concept questions. So with respect to questions, I basically did exercise 2 and exercise 3 in my college materials. Combinedly for each and every chapter, there are some 200 questions, and I did them multiple times. Because these are the basic model questions which are usually more prone to be seen in the main exam. I did them multiple amount of times, and aside from this, I even did examples which are present in my college material. And the uniqueness of this example questions is that a few of these questions are taken from the several other books like DC Pandey, and few are taken from H.C. Verma, few are taken from additional questions from NCERT. So basically all these questions are mixed and are kept under the examples part in our college material. I kind of did that too, and that actually also have given me an advantage. So facing as many number of questions as possible with deep understanding of the concept is especially important for this physics. And with respect to books, I didn't go any further. I didn't do DC Pandey, I didn't do H.C. Verma, because basically I didn't have that time. I was busy attempting weekend tests, grand tests, and solving assignments which is given by my sirs. So most of the time it was allotted for that. So I didn't get that much time to go and focus on other materials. And I just want to mention another thing with respect to physics preparation. There may be many students who are doing self-study, and there may be other students, who are not that much satisfied by the output which is given by teachers there. For them, I want, to suggest one channel, YouTube channel, which is Physics Wala by Alak Pandey. This sir actually teaches everything from the basic level to the topmost level, mains and mains plus level. He proved to be a huge advantage to me, because my sir also is very good sir, but there are few concepts here and there for me which I didn't understand, like rolling and stuff. So when I went to this channel and I saw his videos, he explained everything beautifully, from the basic level to the highest level. Actually, that is one of the reasons I started liking physics. So when you are told, understand the concepts, questions will become easier, and you want to do more questions to test your own concepts. So that is one channel. I think that is the only channel that is required if you want to, get a good mark in physics with respect to NEET is concerned. So yeah, I think that's it. I told you my books, I told you about the YouTube channel, I told you the exercise questions. I told you, and there's one more thing. Lastly, of Akash. Actually, I did those questions too, as I have said before. There are, some 250, 300 questions of each and every chapter, like magnetism, optics, and each and every chapter. And as I did those many questions, I got a confidence that, yeah, I can, that physics is no more a difficult chapter for me, subject for me. And, one more thing is the time allocation. For my preparation, basically I give more time to physics than to chemistry than to bio. Because I know that if any subject that would pull me behind in rank, that would be physics. So I gave most of my time for physics. Mostly, some 45% of my time to physics. Actually, that proved to be an advantage at the end because of that kind of paper. So basically, yes, I did a number of questions. I faced them. I revised my notes. You have a proper notes to get a good advantage of this physics. So I think that's it for physics. So let's move on to the most important subject, biology. And one more thing in physics. The most neglected part in the preparation for physics for the NEET is NCRT. No, I practically didn't touch NCRT in my first year and second year pre-lockdown. But after during the lockdown, I started reading NCRT and I quite enjoyed it. Because, I told you, right, there's some rank deciding questions in the beginning. Mostly they are from physics. That to the theory part. And those statements which are directly picked from the NCRT. So I suggest you to go through them, make notes out of them for each and every chapter. There are certain part like points to ponder and additional questions and the summary part, which are actually important. Additional questions is not that important, but there's points to ponder and summary part. These are very important, because if you are asking a theory question in physics, most probably you will be taking a statement from these aspects. There are even certain bolded lines in within the chapter which are also very important. And one more neglected thing is the tables in them. Even in mains also, as I've seen few papers, few questions are as if directly picked from these tables. Like, one question, as far as I remember, is, the options that they gave was aluminium, copper, brass and something else. And they asked, in which of this material sound would travel faster? This, was indirectly given in NCRT in through tabular form. And the answer for that one was aluminium, as far as I remember. So, don't neglect tables. If you don't have time, go through a points to ponder and summary part. If you have time, it is better to make your own notes for the both first year and second year, especially for the second year part, because that is one part where most people would neglect it. And I've said this time there are some 3 to 4 theory questions which prone to be the rank deciding questions, as I would say. So yeah. So now for biology. Biology is the most easiest subject, and also a subject where there is more chances of committing a silly mistake. For biology, one thing only, the most main thing is reading NCRT. You have to be perfect, line to line, word to word. The diagrams, the labelings, even the questions which are present behind each and every chapter, the summary part, everything. So, because 9% of the questions in the NEET exam, are directly picked from these NCRT chapters. So, to be perfect in NCRT, and the only way to be perfect in NCRT is to read them multiple amount of times. And one more thing is that there are few topics here and there where you have to go beyond NCRT. Certain topics like animal physiology, cell biology, very few topics. For animal physiology, there are a set of chapters, 6 to 7 chapters, like the digestion and absorption, breathing. These kind of chapters where you have to go beyond NCRT. For that, I would suggest you to read your college materials, because these kind of areas are more prone to be asked such a typical type of questions, which are present beyond NCRT. You can now find this kind of trend if you start solving, past year papers of NEET, because and there are other, type of set of lessons where they never go beyond NCRT. For example, sexual reproduction in plants, plant physiology. Mostly in these chapters, they will stick on to NCRT. So, if you start noticing this trend, you can read accordingly. Another example that I would like to give to you is cell biology. In cell biology, mostly, past 2 to 3 times, questions far beyond NCRT is asked. And not only that, even in neural control and coordination too, there are few questions which are asked far beyond NCRT, even in reproduction in animals too. So, what I need to do is, to go through the past year papers, solve them, notice this trend and read accordingly. Just don't read blindly. And when I say read NCRT, I don't mean, buttifying everything. You need to know, you need to have an understanding of that particular concept. You need not be deep, but you need to have a certain level of understanding. So you don't have to buttify anything. That is one thing I have to say. And with respect to books, yes, I did solve a few books actually. One is MTG Fingertips. Second book is Dr. Ali. And during the lockdown phase, I even solved a particular set of questions in this book known as DPP by Sengage. Even that prone to be very useful, because there are questions in that which are present within NCRT and questions which are far beyond NCRT. All of them are covered in these books. But honestly speaking, during my preparation in these 2.5 years, I didn't give that much importance to biology, because I know the lacking subject for me is physics. So comparatively, I gave a little amount of time when compared to physics, but at the end, it is up to you to decide, where you have to give more time, where you have to give, comparatively less time. But 2 months before the main NEET, I gave equal time to all of them, because at the end, each question you have 4 marks, and there are equal number of questions in all the subjects. So at the end, all of them matters equally. But during your initial phase of preparation, you have to allot time according to your own needs. That's what I want to say. So yes, I have told you about the books. You can even go to certain YouTube channels if you have any doubts. There's YouTube channel is Neela Bakori ma'am. Even she does extraordinary stuff, explaining botany. And you need to face a good amount of questions, which you can do from your college material, all the books, or the books which I have said to you. I think practical, that's it. I think that's it for biology. So yes, we are done with all the 3 subjects. I just want to even say about the series of tests which I wrote. I wrote NTA tests, some 20 tests. I believe I even took Alan's test series. I've done that too. And my college, Sri Chaitanya's college, starting from the second year, I wrote about 100 tests. 100 solid 3-hour tests. Writing all these tests also gave me immense amount of confidence before attempting the NEET exam. So practically, total I wrote almost 130 to 150 tests. Each test is of 3 hours. So that also gave me an edge to get good result. And one more thing before concluding, I was in the top section in my college, but I was never the topper. I was just the middleman. I was the average guy, and I kind of hated it. Even though I worked so hard, I kept these many hours to study. I studied almost some 12-14 hours, but still I was not able to push my rank forward, because there are always people ahead of me. So in this process, at one point of time, I almost thought of giving up, because irrespective of how many hours I studied and how much I studied, I was not able to push myself forward. So, but then I saw a video, and in that there is a quote, and that kind of changed the whole perspective for me. And that quote was, "It is better to aim high and miss rather than to aim low and hit." This particular thing, this quote actually kind of changed everything to me. From that point of time, again, I started studying again. I started going hard, and at the end, I think it kind of paid well. So I thought of concluding by saying, whatever your situation is, don't give up. You'll always go hard, keep trying hard, and at the end, leave everything to God. So thank you everyone, and do keep watching DKT for more videos. Thank you.